For hundreds of years in Europe, doctors prescribed something that feels impossible to us now. Not herbs, not minerals, not animal products. Human bodies, ground into powder, mixed into tonics, swallowed as medicine. People consumed it to treat epilepsy, plague, internal bleeding, headaches, melancholy, a failing heart. This wasn't a cult ritual. It wasn't witchcraft hiding in the shadows. It was medicine. And the most disturbing question isn't how this happened. It's why it made sense. Modern history often waves this away with comforting labels: medieval ignorance, superstition, barbarism. Those words create distance. They let us believe we are fundamentally different. We aren't. Because the people who practiced corpse medicine didn't think they were evil. They thought they were being rational. To understand why, you have to abandon the modern idea of the body. They didn't see flesh as biology. They didn't see disease as microbes. They saw the body as a container, a vessel filled with something invisible but essential, a substance they called vital force. Life wasn't an abstract concept. It was a material. It could weaken, it could leak, it could be transferred. Illness wasn't bad luck, it was depletion. If you were sick, it meant something inside you was running out. And if life was something you could lose, then it was something you could steal. This idea didn't begin with madness or desperation. It began with authority. Greek and Roman physicians believed blood, bone, fat, and breath carried life's power. Strength could be absorbed. Vitality could be shared. Death wasn't instantaneous. It was gradual. Life lingered, especially in flesh that resisted decay. That belief found its perfect symbol in Egyptian mummies, bodies sealed, dried, preserved for thousands of years. To Europeans, these weren't relics. They were proof that something inside the body could outlast death itself. If a corpse could resist time, then surely it still held power. So they consumed it, at first cautiously, then confidently, then routinely. The first corpse medicines were scraped from real mummies and sold under the name mumia, and people believed they worked. Not because they were ignorant, but because everything around them reinforced the belief. Doctors prescribed it. Universities taught it. Apothecaries stocked it. It was weighed, measured, taxed. This is what legitimacy looks like in any era. And it wasn't just the poor who believed, it was the powerful. King Charles II of England famously paid a fortune for his own private formula, known as the King's Drops. Its primary ingredient was human skull, crushed, distilled, and mixed with alcohol. This wasn't folk medicine. It was the personal prescription of a king. Charles drank it while dying. Surrounded by the best physicians in Europe, no one questioned it. If the king believed life could be transferred from the dead, who was going to argue? But belief has a problem. It grows faster than supply. As Europe expanded, so did disease. Plague tore through cities. Wars left bodies everywhere. Hospitals overflowed. Pain multiplied. So did desperation. And suddenly, there weren't enough mummies. But the idea didn't die. It evolved. If preserved bodies worked, then fresher ones must be better. If age diluted vitality, then youth must concentrate it. If illness drained life force, then violent death must trap it inside the flesh. This logic led to a horrifying conclusion. The most powerful medicine wasn't ancient. It was newly dead. This is where the corpse trade truly begins. Executed criminals. The poor, the unclaimed. Their bodies didn't go to graves, they went to apothecaries. Blood was collected warm, believed to cure epilepsy. Fat was rendered into salves. Skulls were dried and powdered. Bones were medicine. And none of this happened in secret. Picture London in the late 1600s. A narrow shop, shelves stacked with jars, a mortar grinding slowly. Inside it, something that once spoke, once laughed, once had a name. But that doesn't matter anymore, because abstraction has done its work. This isn't a person, it's a product. And outside the door, people are waiting. A parent holding a feverish child, a man shaking uncontrollably, a woman bleeding and afraid. They aren't monsters. They're desperate, and desperation makes belief feel like reason. This system survived not because people were cruel, it survived because it was useful. Doctors gained authority, merchants made money, patients gained hope. And hope is the most powerful drug humanity has ever known. Ending this practice would mean admitting something unbearable. That generations of medicine were wrong, that trusted authorities were guessing, that suffering had been prolonged by false faith, that truth was too expensive, so the system protected itself. The collapse didn't come from moral outrage, it came from humiliation. Critics began exposing the fraud, not that people were eating human remains, but that the remains weren't what they were promised. Ancient mummy powder was often fresh corpses, poor bodies sold as relics, executed men repackaged as medicine. Once trust cracked, belief followed, and when science finally dismantled the idea of transferable vital force, the corpse lost its magic. It became what it had always been, dead tissue. Today, we look back in horror. We tell ourselves we would never believe something so absurd. But the mechanism hasn't changed. Attach a cure to fear. Wrap it in authority. Sell it before it can be questioned. We don't grind mummies anymore. But we still chase miracle cures, still swallow promises, still trade money and morality for hope. The people who consumed corpse medicine weren't monsters. They were people in pain, doing exactly what humans have always done, believing that this time the cure will finally work.